we've talked about the candidate experience and the journey and why it's important to your company. And in our last video, we discussed candidate feedback and reviews and what the impact this can have on your organisation.
And so for our final video on the candidate experience topic, we will be looking at what are the different kinds of candidates, the candidate journey funnel, and the pain points that they could experience along the way.
We mentioned at the end of the second video that there are two kinds of candidates, an active candidate and a passive candidate. The phase the active candidate goes through on the candidate journey funnel are awareness, consideration and interest, all before applying. These candidates are the minority, and a LinkedIn report recently told us that they are only 12%.
The passive candidates, on the other hand, are the majority and only enter the journey funnel when they apply. The phases of awareness, consideration and interest that the active candidates will go through will need marketing efforts from search and selection firms like us, as they are not actively seeking out their next opportunity. So we need to be the extension of your team to gain their interest to actually want to apply.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. But let's look at the candidate journey funnel. It's composed of 7 steps if we include onboarding. The first 6 are awareness, consideration, interest, application, selection and offer and hire. We will look at each of those along with the pain points candidates can experience during the steps of the journey.
So, starting with awareness. As we mentioned before, it all begins with awareness. The candidate could find out about your job vacancy in many ways, some of which will probably include an advert on a job board, through their network, they might end up on your career page, or if you are very well known, they might go and search for your company career page, or they might stumble across your content on social media by reading an article on a subject of their interest. It's the starting point to them deciding if they want to take things further, so first impressions really do count.
The second phase is consideration. During this period, the candidate will consider a few elements. How good and attractive is your job posting? Do your values resonate with them? As we mentioned earlier, candidates read reviews too. Usually they use websites like Glassdoor and Indeed, and they are wondering if they should apply to your job offer. If your reviews or jobs postings are bad, they will lose interest in you. As Claire said, those first impressions really are important.
They certainly are. Then we move into the third phase, which is interest. This sees the candidate comparing a few potential employers by gathering information. During this phase, they might scan your social media and the about page of your site. Some pictures of your employees might stand out and give the job seeker hints. They could also draw conclusions about you by looking at your organisational chart or your team structure. You should avoid for them to lead to a cultural perception gap. If they are interviewed, they will come with a set of expectations. Is your culture properly represented? You don't want a candidate to expect a startup vibe and then find a corporate environment instead. What differentiates you? Will they choose you as their preferred company and commit to you enough to apply? Sometimes the interest phase can be quick, but sometimes it's even postponed until after the selection phase. But that generally tends to happen if the candidate has an urgent need to find a job in that situation.
We now reach the fourth phase, the application. This is where the candidate will judge the length and simplicity of the process you put in place. Asking the job seekers to input their CV manually is very risky. If you do so, most candidates will probably give up. As a matter of fact, research quotes that because of this, 60% of candidates drop an application midway through. Can you afford to run the risk? They will also notice if you send them updates. Did you receive their application? If they do not pass this screening test, do you notify them? 80% of candidates would rather not consider job offers at a business who didn't notify them of their application status. If they did get a notification, they'd be 3.5 times more happy to apply again. If you take too long, your applicant might not be available anymore.
Next comes selection. The candidates will be interviewed and assessed. Now they might have to take part in an assessment centre or deliver presentations, but it's vital that the interview process should reflect the level of the vacancy, and therefore the application process they go through to get to this stage should not be too lengthy. No one wants to go through a clunky application process and then a further 6 months of interviews for any job application. Put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself if you'd be prepared to do that. Then if there is a match, at this stage, the candidate will proceed to the last phase of the recruitment funnel.
The sixth step is to offer and hire. The candidate gets a job offer. Will they say yes? The candidate will be asking themselves, is the role and culture a fit for me? Was your communication fair and friendly during the interaction? Are the compensations and benefits relevant? Don't make the mistake of getting this far and then insult them with a compensation package below their expectations. Alignment of their expectations and yours should have been established early on in the application process. But it's not all about money, as the other factors mentioned are more important to candidates and their impressions of you throughout the process, so don't forget that.
If they say yes and accept your offer, great. Then the final phase will start, which is onboarding. Firstly, keep in touch with them before they join your organisation. A quick phone call every now and then to check in makes for a good start. Your new employee will then be introduced to the team and the role by at least one HR person and a colleague from their team. If you work for a corporate company, this phase is very important. Is your personnel department clear, available and friendly enough during this phase? Believe it or not, 28% of new hires leave before their first 90 days. 28%. And by now you've expended a lot of resources to get these employees, so don't let them run away due to a poor onboarding experience.
Claire's right. By having a well thought out onboarding experience and plan that is documented and shared with your new employee will only be a solid start to your relationship and reinforce their thoughts and feelings about you and the organisation and the choice that they made.
So we've now come to the end of the stages of the candidate journey funnel and indicated their respective experience pain points. This should now help you map out your own and identify your candidate issues with your recruitment process to see if it holds up.
If you're struggling to identify top talent for your team and are finding that the quality of candidate is poor, costing you precious time and money, along with having a negative impact on your team, this could be one of the reasons why.
Yes, so as always, don't forget you can book a 5-minute call with us via the link in this post, where we will share with you the secrets to identify the best talent for your teams, giving you back your time to focus on your objectives, saving time and money. So until next time, that's all from us.
Bye.